is typing. Beating the shit out of your keyboard, man.
Yeah, I'm typing. What do you want me to do here? That's how typing works.
I don't know. Mine's a little quieter.
It's a tactile keyboard. I like to hear it.
Makes for good sound effects. If you were to record that, it's very classic keyboard typing.
That's my Foley artist in me. What do you mean?
What's up? How you doing?
Nothing.
How's your day? How's your weekend?
I mean, literally, I woke up, went to the movies, had a burger, got back.
Burger sounds kind of good.
Yeah, it was a nice little burger from the window. I think I talked about that last time with. Sorry, I'm posting about our actual live stream so people know what we're doing it because we're bad at that sometimes.
From the window?
Yeah, the window. It's in the Grove now.
Oh, we did talk about that. I'm just looking.
It's literally Win-Dough. It's there's a few.
Wait, it's Win-Dough. I get it. The Grove. And never mind. You said dough, and I wrote like dough, like bread dough.
Yeah. Bread dough. No, not bread dough.
Ooh, these look good.
Little smash burger, and they're like, it's Los Angeles, so like you get used to this like $20 burger price, but like window is like if you get a single burger, it's $5. So it's like what it should be.
I would like to go here. They're all over the place.
Yeah, they're all over the place, but like
there's one not too far from me.
The Grove is my close theater, so it is an issue now. Every time I have to go to a movie that I don't get a screening to, I just go to the Grove for at 11 o'clock, and it's like, oh, it's lunchtime. What do? Oh, look, the window.
Which burger did you get?
I mean, it's smash burger. It's all the same.
Just like the old, well, no, they have. Oh, never mind. I was like, what is a beauty burger? But a beauty burger is just for vegetarians.
It's Los Angeles.
It's literally just double and single patties.
Yeah, which is like it's the whole thing of like you're gonna do one thing, do it really well, and some don't, some do.
Well, they also have a fried chicken sandwich.
It was okay. I had the chickie today.
Oh, you did?
I had a single burger and a chicken sandwich. What do you mean?
Okay. Well, I see what's happening here.
I'm hungry.
I get it.
I had to quench my thirst and feed my hunger after the women in the yard.
We're gonna get to that. I didn't see it. You did.
I did.
Sounds like you took one for the team.
I'll talk about it later. I mean, there's highs and lows. I think there's different ways to approach it. We'll hold that off.
All right. So
we should start with Super.
Today we're going to talk Woman in the Yard. We're going to talk about current box office and what the box office for the rest of the year might look like. And we are also going to take a ton of live chats. So if you want a question answered, just drop it in and we will get to as many as we possibly can. Beginning with Mike, who always kicks us off with the kindest, most generous super chats. Thank you, Mike.
Hell yeah.
Hope you all had a great weekend. Since we're reaching the end of the first quarter of the year, what are some of your favorite 2025 releases? Right now, it's a tie between Black Bag and The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. I still need to see Black Bag.
I have not seen Black Bag yet either. That's been a casualty of festival season.
Yeah, because I think it was right during South by Southwest. So we both missed it.
Yeah, so that was a rough one. I mean, like I said, I keep beating the dead horse on this one, but like My Dead Friend Zoe is my favorite movie of the year so far, and that's a carryover from last year. So like, the thing is, you might have been hearing me talk about it for a while. It's because we saw it at the festival last year, just got released this year. But I don't think I've seen anything better just yet. Time Stalker's a fun one, although I don't know if that has US distribution. I know it has UK distribution, and I forget if it has US. Honestly, the Monkey's up there for me. I'm going down my little list here of things I've seen.
I hate when we do these virtually and I can't see your list.
What'd you say?
I hate when we do them virtually and I can't see your list.
I know. I have the comprehensive, and I was hoping to find something at South by that really blew me away, but I found some good stuff, but nothing that's especially the mainstreams that are all coming out soon. Drop is the best thing I saw there mainstream, and it's a good movie. Do not get me wrong. I'm high on it, but still it's a 3 out of 5 good movie. It's not. I didn't find my 4.5 star thing yet.
I hear ya. My two at South by. Well, I guess the Surrender did get picked up. Hopefully, I don't remember if it's set for 2025 release. I imagine it is.
No, it's this year.
That could be a contender for me. And if Redux gets 2025 distribution, that'll be up there too. I'm with you on my dead friend Zoe. That's definitely high up on my list. And then looking at Sundance movies, it would be I guess it would only be The Ugly Stepsister.
Yeah.
Oh, The Ugly Stepsister and Together. Those are the two that are coming out guaranteed in 2025. That would be up there for me. I really liked Hard Eyes. I don't know if it's gonna be top 10 territory at the end of the year though. Same with The Monkey. What else was there this year? I feel like I had more that I liked that wasn't a festival debut, and now I can't think of anything.
I don't have much more if I'm being honest.
I guess most of my enthusiasm is for movies that played at festivals, which is still cool. Still very cool. Oh, I like Novocaine a lot.
I've yet to see. That is I will see it soon.
I've got a lot of faith you're really gonna like that. I love Novocaine. I liked Bob Trevino likes it a lot. That's in theaters now, limited, and it's a really good watch. I like the Ballad of Wallace Island a lot. The Friend is out now. I like that too.
I can't believe all this stuff just hitting. Like South by was so interesting this year because so much is just out now. I feel like so many South by movies. I am accustomed to being like, oh, there's a month wait at least or something. But so many of the stuff that plays South by are just out publicly, which is a good thing. That's great because then we can talk about things and actually recommend them to people. But I thought I had more time to catch up on Friendship and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, it's just dead ass out now shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Companion was quite good too. I like that a lot. I really want to rewatch that one. Other than that, I like Dash.
Yeah. But again, I'm still waiting for something to blow me away on my dead friend Zoe's level. That is my clear number one. There's nothing that's touched it yet, really. So I am waiting for, Ugly Stepsister, great movie. Stuff but I want something to kick me in the face again.
Ugly Stepsister is up there for me. Yeah. All right. So what do you want to do first? Box office, or do you want to review The Woman in the Yard?
I just
or do you want to take this super chat that just came in?
Sure. I mean, we didn't start anything, so we can do this first.
All right, Landon, you're up. Hey there. What do you think of Sundance moving to Boulder? As someone from Colorado, I am excited about it, but I can imagine people being upset. What are the main reasons why people are upset?
I think just change. I think change is obviously, and Park City, it's the identity of Park City. And also, I mean, if you're living in Park City and stuff like that, or sorry, if you have a business there or something, the economic implications, let's say, that's going to, it's going to hurt in many ways, and it's going to hurt Park City itself. There were definitely some choices that led to it. I love the idea of I think one of the, somebody over in Park City or some higher official over there in Utah, they kind of made a decision that forced a hand. And I forget what they banned a flag or something. I think they banned the pride flag, and literally Sundance was like, yeah, no, we're good to leave now. I think I really do believe it was a bargaining chip, but then Utah fucked around and found out. That's actually out there. You can go look that up. That's not made up or anything. But no, I think it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't matter that much. I'm glad I went to Park City this year for the first time. And only time, I guess, to actually say it, because that was my whole crux of that. I'll go to Sundance and I'll do my first Park City trip as a film critic, and actually, I'll brave the weather. I'll do a cold weather festival for once. But I don't know, the idea that they just replicated Park City and went to Boulder in a way, it's the same thing. You got to fly into Denver, you got to drive the certain amount to get outside of it. But I think Amelia was saying where they're doing it now is more of a college town. It's not as secluded ski resort area as Park City, which I think is a good and bad thing. I think that's what made Sundance what it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see how the environment brings people in and how, that the festival itself grows and evolves there. But
I don't friggin' know. On the one hand, I could feel Sundance losing steam, and it does feel like, they need some sort of jolt to breathe new life into the festival. So while I've always associated, obviously, Park City with Sundance, I mean, now hearing about the pride flag stuff, I'm like, all right, goodbye.
You know,
But like
let's fuck around
just
and find out.
limiting it to it being Sundance in Park City as it always has been, like, part of that hurts to say goodbye to that. But it also really does feel like they need, some sort of like jolt, shot of adrenaline to like give it a fresh feel, a boost, and try to change the course that it's on. And I do think that goes hand in hand with moving cities. As for the city they chose, I think when it came down to it, I might have leaned Boulder just because it maintains the mountain town vibe, and at least that will stay intact. But if I'm being honest, I don't really know that much about the city of Boulder and what it could sustain and how it's going to change the vibe of the festival. I'm curious to see how it changes the prices more than anything for the people who want to go and can't typically afford to pay Park City prices.
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume that the prices are going to be kind of similar because it's still the festival's still bringing in people that like we're still stuck going there. We're still stuck paying certain prices. So I guess it's if Boulder does the same kind of price gouging, which
the Airbnb prices at in Park City the last 2-3 years were like astronomical.
Very aware. Very, very aware. Yeah.
Just in our little bubble, I would like to see a more affordable film festival so that, more outlets can afford to go, more freelancers could afford to go. I do really think that that's part of the reason why the Sundance profile has dipped over the years because
but it's everywhere though, because South by is no different. I mean, like South by is just as expensive, it's just as crazy, and that is in a more built up area of Austin. So Austin has way more places to stay, way more availability. Well, yeah. But they still jack up the prices too. I mean,
they do. For what it's worth, just from my limited view in terms of how I go to festivals and operate, like the Airbnb prices were quite different.
Oh no, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. It's it's way too early to tell how things change. But I think they picked Boulder because they didn't really want to change. Like they wanted the idea of a festival existing outside of a major metropolitan area. So again, like you're gonna have to fly into Denver, drive up 45 minutes, or with traffic, whatever it takes. So they want the experience to still be secluded. But Boulder is just more of a bigger city than Park City. So it's like, what does that do to the identity? I don't mind if it's a bigger to-do, let's say, like a more populated festival and it's more metropolitan. I don't think that's an issue. Honestly, for me, when I heard the first batch of cities that could have taken Sundance, I was like, yeah, put it in San Francisco. I'd love that. Like again, I'm in LA, so that's completely selfish of me, but I don't think the idea of moving it somewhere like San Francisco would have killed the festival or the vibe of it. A fest should be about the movies. It shouldn't be about certain things. So,
I mean, you're right on that. It should be about the movies first and foremost, but I mean, it's just inevitable. And I don't think we've really, or at least in our generation, ever dealt with something like this because it is inevitable for any film festival or any comic convention that some of its identity gets tethered to the town that it's in. And I can't personally remember any kind of upheaval like this.
No, I can't. There really hasn't been a change like that. You're right. But I mean, like, didn't Slam Dance or something, or like they left first, and then they came to LA, and like now no one talks about it. Like it's just one of those.
Well, I think LA is one of the worst moves that any festival could. Yeah. There's already festivals here, and it's already. I mean, it's part of the. I think New York Comic-Con has a great identity now, and it does do well. I think it's the convention that gets the most attendees, even more so than San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, New York, really?
I think so, yeah. But part of the reason why I like San Diego Comic-Con more is because it almost feels like all of downtown San Diego becomes Comic-Con. And we are in San Diego, but we're also in this like one-of-a-kind town that only exists for 4 or 5 days. Whereas when you go to New York Comic-Con, like, yes, it feels like NYCC in the Javits Center, but
yeah, but that's it.
But like that's it. Yes, you do see some people in cosplay walking around in the streets nearby, but it doesn't have that same kind of community feel to it. So I think
Yeah.
any film festival that moves to LA loses that because it is a city, and also because there's so many other film related things going on here that will pull your attention away from the festival, which needs to be the spotlight of the city that it's in at the time.
Yeah, I agree. An LA set festival, it's all that stuff. I mean, Beyond Fest does great. Don't get me wrong.
Do you want to
But
address this question?
oh, you mean Overlook that I'm going to? Oh no, I love
Yeah.
Overlook in New Orleans. Sorry, I wish I did go to the Timberline and also like the Overlook itself. I wish I could have done those. But New Orleans for a horror film festival,
Yeah.
yes, please. That it is one of my favorite to go to.
I think they do. I think they did a pretty good job. I have to speak from the past perspective, because the last time I went to Overlook was, what was it, 2019 we went?
Oh, when we went, yeah, that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
That was 2019, I think.
That was the one and only time I experienced Overlook in New Orleans. And I did go the year before when it was at the Timberline. And if I'm being completely honest, I prefer the Timberline again because the entirety of the festival happened in the hotel. You knew everybody was there for the same reason. And I definitely think it created a really special community type vibe. I do think they did, especially because it was their first year when I went to New Orleans. I think they did a pretty damn good job of bringing it there. But admittedly, it did have that effect of things feeling like dispersed and, like spread out. And the locations, at least that we went to, were all over the place, really.
They've gotten better. They now have a host theater, I guess to say. Like they have found a place where they can show all their movies. You know where you're going every time. It's more of a multiplex, but still
all of their movies.
Yeah, like they might do one special, like listen, they might do a special kind of like, hey, here's a 40th anniversary Reanimator in a really cool theater or something like that. But the majority of the festival is locationally taken now. It's in the same spot. And I mean, for me, talking about identities and like for a horror festival, like New Orleans has so much rich history of kind of spooky culture, I guess, let's say. It goes hand in hand. Also, they do great immersive stuff too. So it's like, I think that move, it was necessary. It had to happen. That their hand was forced. Like it wasn't a scenario where they just wanted to up and move because, hey, like, fuck it. Like, no, it was called the Overlook for a reason. And then they have to do the best they can now. But I think landing in New Orleans, what other horror festival has that vibe? Like, I don't know.
That immersive stuff was above and beyond my favorite part of that festival. I mean, granted, it was because a lot of the movies I was lucky enough to have seen before, but the immersive theater that we did, and especially how like individualized it was, is a truly incredible experience.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing too. Like us as critics talking about film festivals, we have such a specific view on them because we're going for working purpose. Like we go to a bunch of these festivals, we do see a ton of movies. So I still try to think of festivals from like the local aspect of it, because the common person, like you have to pick a town where you're going to make a horror festival, let's say, and who's going to be the biggest draw there? Probably locals. So as long as they are serving New Orleans and the people there, like I kind of really love what they have built there, because we might have seen most of the movies, but most people, other attendees haven't yet. So it's like for us, it's like, I think they do a really good job of for critics, we get to go and have our fun because we've seen a ton, but for the actual general public attending, they do a really good job of curating what the best stuff at every festival is and bringing that to New Orleans, like in that good way. So for us, it's like double dipping, and we're like, we've seen so much, but at the same time, I'm looking down their list and I'm like, oh, I love that movie. I love that movie. I love that movie. So like everyone attending is like going to have a great time.
I'm a pencil that in for next year. I want to go back.
Yeah, it's great.
Go back. It's been too long. Been too long.
And again, it's New Orleans. Sorry, like best food in America. Like just everything.
New Orleans and Austin make me quite happy. I feel like you're going to bring up my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but like
I never do.
I ate well. I ate well in New Orleans. I tried.
You're also doing better, so I believe.
No, I am.
You would try more things this time.
Variety sometimes.
I was talking to Paul, and even Paul said he's like, he keeps bringing up, he's like, I'm so happy I'm trying more food now. And I was like, yeah, that was my mission forever, and we're gonna get her to try more things.
It was 2024 was a banner year for me in terms of trying new foods.
It really was, yeah.
All right. You want to review this movie?
Yeah, sure. We'll do it.
The floor is yours. I have not seen it.
Hold on. I'm going to get my little IMDb up very quickly so I don't get anything wrong here. The Woman in the Yard, IMDb. There we go. I was like just about to start writing my review too, which is very funny. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta do a little live stream first. All right. So for those who don't know, this is the Woman in the Yard review. All right. It's like trauma horror 101. I want to get that out, like everything we have seen from the beginning of Hereditary and the Babadook and all that stuff. And I think the phrase trauma horror has become more derogatory over the years, where like to me it's a movement. Like I don't find it as a ding. Like it literally was just how the late, or I'd say like the mid 2010s, it's like that's just where we transitioned in horror. We just went towards these trauma horror films because A24 started making money off them, so everyone wanted to. And I feel like we really are on the downswing of finally getting out of that movement. And I don't know what's next officially. I think slashers, maybe something like that. We have plenty of slashers happening right now, so that's why I think so. But we are in like the final stages of watching these trauma horror scripts that were still out there during like, you know, they tried to get them made during the height of this. I think this was a Blacklist script or something even. So like it's been around, and it's just the best way I can describe it is like to me it would have been a great 20-minute short. But even as an 85-minute feature, the movie is just so inevitable and expected in so many ways that even though it is telling a very important story, like it's a movie about depression. It is from the very start. That is not a spoiler. Like this is a movie about depression and depicting depression as the woman in the yard. And it's so obvious that we know this from the first scene. Like we know everything that's happening. And for me, at least in the way that I like, you know, I digest films and how we're going about it, I could not stop thinking about how I knew exactly where we were headed. And yet it was so drawn out for those like 85 minutes. And that's not a long runtime either. Like I'm not talking a 2-hour movie or anything. Like there is so much that we know what's happening. And it is so inevitable. I'll use that word again. Like we know where this is going. We know where this is headed. And I just couldn't stay that engaged with it because of that. There's nothing wrong with the performances. It's shot beautifully. Like Collet-Serra is the director, and he can do really good stuff with either like a small story or a big story. It felt like The Shallows in a way, like going back to Collet-Serra's like filmography, because this movie it's basically like a one location. It's just a house and a woman in a yard, and it's a family trying to deal with that. And that's the movie. Like that's it. That's where it is. So like I attributed that to The Shallows because once again, like Blake Lively, she has a finite amount of space and the water and the shark. So people,
and Steven Seagal.
Sorry, and Steven Seagal. That is fair. But so Collet-Serra can do stuff like that. He can take smaller environments. He can take smaller stories and still do great things with them, because I fucking love The Shallows and there's tension and all this stuff. But I just never felt any of that in The Woman in the Yard. I wanted to care about it because it is having a really nice conversation about depression and like, am I the monster? Can people like it, the world's better without me kind of stuff. And it handles that well, but it still handles it well in a way that is like fucking paint by numbers 101. And I struggled with it for that reason. It's just really not that deep. It's not that insightful. And then I'm not going to spoil anything, but where it ends just doesn't sit with me. It does something that there's maybe some mirror realm things happening, and it wants you to be like, is this reality? Is this the mirror world that somebody is seeing? And then the depression is it making you see something else? And I think they had a much better ending point a few minutes earlier, and then it goes on a little too long, and that's really what killed it for me. Like that was that's where you're going to end it. Yeah, kind of. I felt like, did you ever see that movie, The Turning? I think it was.
Oh, I never saw it, but I remember it.
It again, just one of those instances, like probably like the biggest instance I have had in a long time of, Jesus Christ, you had the ending. You were right there, and you just went on a minute too long. Like you didn't need to do this. And you redefine the whole movie with one single decision.
That's a bummer. I really want good things for Danielle Deadwyler.
Yeah, and again, like performance is great. I didn't find anything wrong with the performances. It's just the substance of the material and the inability for it to kind of like break a barrier. Like you really have to like grip us in at this point and like really suck us into the story. And this was just so cut and dry, like family problems, depression, It's what it does to people. And again, good conversation to have. But we've been having that conversation now for a long time, horror especially. And where something like, I mean, Relic is dealing more with the family drama and hereditary stuff and those films. They just push so much farther. And I feel like The Woman in the Yard didn't really have much more to say beyond the correct but obvious.
This is a bummer. Sounds like it's not worth me watching at home ever, right?
I mean, listen, if it's on in the background someday, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't need a movie that's only worth being on in the back. I'm also not capable of watching anything in the background. I don't know. Whenever I put something on, it gets my undivided attention, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's I always say, like, formulate your own opinion. It's the thing of, I saw a movie, this is my opinion. I would love if y'all thought I was wrong, because that means like you found something worthwhile in this film. But man, it just didn't work for me. I mean, like, Amelia, positive on it. Like that's the change. That's what I'm saying. Like, that she enjoyed it for what it was. And there's no incorrect or like, because again, the conversation is good that it's having. So like, if depending on your, how you kind of, again, like, take to movies and like what you need to get you through, if the conversation is worth it, I think that could pull you through on this one. I didn't find it there, but
maybe I'll give it a chance then. I don't know. There's so much to watch and not enough time. And this particular one also didn't screen far enough in advance, I believe. That's part of the reason. Part of the reason why I didn't see it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the reason why I saw it today was because I had plans on Thursday, which is the day the movie released public, and our screening got out later than the actual first public screenings. So, like, literally, they didn't want any review hitting before people could see the movie. Yeah.
I don't even understand why that's a tactic anymore. It's like a tactic that's a lose-lose, because everyone's been smarter than that mentality for years now. So it's like, you're trying to get around the bad reviews, but you're essentially already giving yourself a bad review sight unseen, because people know what holding a movie back means.
But like, sure, people in the know do, but still, most of the general public, like, are they going to clock that? Like, oh, there's no reviews out yet. Like, so that's...
I think like the broadest possible version of the general public doesn't matter in either sense. But I do think that if you are concerned about what someone might think if they're reading a review, if they're seeking out reviews, those people are probably in the know why there is no review of a movie coming out in mere days.
Fair. No, that's valid. Yeah, like, it is exactly that conversation, because even when I go online, like, you're right, people that follow me who aren't in the industry, just followers, and like, they know what embargoes mean now, and like, they know when my review
embargoes are a big deal.
Yeah.
People are on point. They know their shit.
But yeah, so I wanted more from it. Just fucking, I love everyone involved. I love everything about the behind the scenes stuff, and just what made it to screen just wasn't there for me.
Bummer. Again, I just want good things for Danielle Deadwyler. I'm still all hung up on her not getting her Academy Award nomination for Till. And now she didn't get an Academy Award nomination yet again for her work in The Piano Lesson, which I thought was just... so good. She's so good in everything. And I feel like she keeps, I don't know, coming up just short of getting the recognition. She gets a lot of recognition, but the recognition she really deserves. And I want to see that for her.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right. We had 3 Soupies come in. Adams first. We got this in Boulder. I went to school at, I'm assuming it's Colorado University. Very strong movie and music scene. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that positivity.
Yeah. Again, like, as long as it's
one more year in Park City.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the last year in Park City is going to be like. It's an interesting situation when like the city and the festival have to work together to like create a great event. I just wonder if I fear it'll feel less than if they don't play nice.
Oh, they're going to play nice because they need all the, this is the last time they're going to get Sundance money. So this is literally the last time they're going to get that financial boost. So they're going to try to get everything they can out of this.
All right. Wiley's here. Hey guys, been thinking of comedies this week because of the studio. What are some of your favorite 2000s comedies? Semi-Pro, I think, is kind of underrated.
That was a funny one because I hated it when I first saw it, and then the more I watched it, the more I just became like, indoctrinated into it. I was like, you know what, this is kind of funny. I take it.
That
back.
was me and Step Brothers. That was a movie where I'm like, why does everyone find this so funny? And then all of a sudden I watched it again and again and again, and it got funnier every single time.
Yeah, like I mean, if we're talking about those era movies, I think Talladega is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know why that's the one that hits the hardest. But like Walk Hard, I could watch that whenever. Walk Hard, the Dewey story.
I could watch a lot of Dodgeball.
Yeah, I wasn't as big on Dodgeball. I really like Out Cold. I was talking about it last night with some people.
Out Cold is great.
Out Cold is great. It's a really funny movie. Great soundtrack, great everything.
Yeah. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a biggie. I believe that was 2010.
I mean,
you're up, maybe.
We're fine with that whole.
I'm trying to play by the rules here.
I think I said everything. Someone just said Black Dynamite. Like I think Black Dynamite is later. I think that's a 2012 or something, 2013 maybe. But Black Dynamite is one of the funniest movies I've seen since 2000. Like I do agree with whoever just said that.
I'm trying to see if there's any biggies. Superbad counts.
Yeah, so, Superbad's always there.
Locked Up, Juno. Now I'm just reading off this great list here. Euro Trip.
You're underrated. Honestly, Sex Drive underrated. That's one of my.
I know you love Sex Drive.
I love Sex Drive. Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones.
But yeah, I do. If I had to like really pick, I think it's like Out Cold, Walk Hard, and Talladega. It's got to be. I love Talladega. I know it's an easy picker, but
I think I'd probably, if I had to pick like top tier stuff, probably go Bridesmaids.
Yeah, hilarious. Agreed. Yeah,
Bridesmaids is another one that had to grow on me though. I feel like okay. I don't think I was going to South by at that point, so I wouldn't have seen it there. I just vividly remember hearing the best things in the world about that movie. And then I saw it and I'm like, it was funny, but it wasn't that funny. And then I saw it again. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. And now I love it. And I know the large majority of the lines in that movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
We have a soupy sticker that we'll have to look out later, Ricardo.
But thank you, Ricardo.
Thank you. I love super stickers. And Billy's here. Just a general hi and hoping your festival work went well. Any thoughts on Drop or Death of a Unicorn? Also, The Girl Next Door.
Yeah, Girl Next Door is a funny one. I always forget about it, but it is a funny one.
That's
Super Troopers. Oh, someone just said Super Troopers. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
I just rebought that on Blu-ray because I was like, I lost the DVD somewhere in my travels and it just was upsetting me so much. So I upgraded to Blu-ray.
But just think, there's some lucky person out there who found your old copy and now they're enjoying it.
No, it was like one of those things where like I lent it to a friend and they just never gave it back. And I was like, fuck you.
That's the worst offense in the world, but I am guilty of that offense. Like, you know, when like someone, like you go to someone's house and they like casually just like lend you something and then you don't see them again.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of things that I could blame on that.
That's valid then. But So
it still makes me feel like an asshole.
General thoughts on Drop and Death. I think we talked about this a little bit when we did our South by recap.
Death?
Yeah, for Death.
Drop.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Look, your computer likes that.
I'm excited to watch Drop again. I think it'll be a fun little rewatch now that I know.
Yeah.
And again, not going to say anything like that. Like this is a very fun little Hitchcockian date night movie.
Mm-hmm.
So take it like that. But yeah, Death just disappointing. I can't even say it's like terrible or anything. I just think it's a really disappointing waste of a concept that just it's good for the first 20 minutes and then it kind of just runs out of steam so quick and you're like, what the fuck?
I'm not going to say it's terrible, but I was definitely firmly negative on it. And I think that's like setting in more and more the more I talk about it. And like it was just like a really weird experience to feel like everybody in that theater was cracking up and we were just dead silent the entire time. Meanwhile, the more people I talked to that were there in that South by room, I'm like, well, what'd you think about it? They're like, I don't really like it. Like, who was laughing then? Who was laughing?
I mean, a lot of people that made the movie were there. I mean, sorry, I will go back to there. I did a South by
it does have a 55.
Yeah, no, it is a 50-50 movie. Like there are people that there's someone was in the chat before saying they don't get the mixed reviews because they liked it so much, and that is not a
No,
bad. Like that
I
is fine.
respect that.
That
I
is,
respect that.
again, like it's all respect. Like movies are the kind of thing like we are all going to have opinions on them, and we should all take each other's opinions and have fun with them and talk about them. That's fine.
This is a good question because
Oh,
I would say
yeah.
like yes, you could, but it's probably also worth knowing that the Happy Death Day movies and Freaky are far more horror comedy leaning than this is.
Yeah, this is straightforward thriller.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it even horror. Like I know it's a dumb distinction.
Yeah, I get.
But like it's it's a thriller.
Yeah,
Which is a good thing.
I mean, no, it's a horror thriller, genre bending.
Yeah,
one
I
of
know.
those. I
That's
hate
what I said.
holes. All right, who is Rogers there?
Yeah, he's got a little limpy foot. So I'm just watching him.
What's wrong with my nephew?
Yeah, he had the donut on the other night because like he's chewing his tail, so donut on. And then we got back from where we were out for drinks with I forget where, like possibly Thursday night. So literally like he was trying to get the donut off, so foot got caught in the donut. So yeah, little buddy.
Oh, poor thing. Oh my God. I can't handle anything bad happening to an animal. Like one little hair on his head, and I will be on the verge of tears. All right. You want to talk box office?
Yeah.
So I saw this. I'll come back to this. But first, let's look at this week's box office. So this week's box office is a little rough. Number one is A Working Man, the Jason Statham movie, with $15 million. Number two is Snow White with $14 million, and that's after a 66.4% drop, which is quite substantial. Then there's The Chosen, Last Supper with $11.5 million, followed by The Woman in the Yard with $9.5 million, and finally Death of a Unicorn with 5.6-ish, 7-ish, 8-ish million.
6, 7-ish, 8-ish.
I rounded down, then I got to the middle, and then I rounded up as I originally intended.
That's fair.
Yeah, these numbers are not great.
I mean, is it just the idea of like there's not much hype? Sorry,
bless you.
Like these are movies that I don't think have the same caliber of hype across the board. Like even Death of a Unicorn, like that's a niche movie. That's a niche audience. Like
no, I wouldn't expect Death of a Unicorn to like blow the doors off the box office, but look at that ensemble and look at I'll look this up before I actually say it, but I was about to say, look how many resources they had, but I just want to now I just looked up the Unicorn movie. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Death of a Unicorn.
But I mean, like The Woman in the Yard, like it didn't promote itself. It just is kind of like hitting theaters to see what it can do. Like, so that I didn't expect this to do really anything. I mean, this is a movie that I forgot this thing existed until I was driving through Hollywood Boulevard and saw a gigantic billboard.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. You got a billboard up in LA that says your movie's coming out, but like, I forgot what it was, who was directing it, like all that stuff. So,
yeah. It wasn't really on my radar until it was too late.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly that. And
for the record, I was wrong on Death of a Unicorn. The budget was the production budget was reportedly $15 million, which is fairly low. But I don't know. You would just look at that ensemble, especially with someone like Jenna Ortega attached, who is, viewed as one of the more bankable stars we have right now.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have, like, even though I didn't like it, I am always rooting for movies to succeed at the box office. I would have liked to have seen it taking a bigger opening weekend haul.
Yeah, and I mean, a Jason Statham actioner, that has, again, so much attraction, and the title alone, A Working Man, it just feels like another Jason Statham action movie. I don't think it was billed as anything more than that. So you're just, again, like this week felt just like banking on, like you said, Death banking on its cast, A Working Man banking on Jason Statham, Woman in the Yard banking on horror fans, just being like, oh, there's a horror movie in theaters. There wasn't a lot of proactivity. There was just a lot of, let's see what we can do.
Yeah. And then there's Snow White. Yikes.
And that's just
yikes.
That's just dumb.
That's a rough total for a movie like that. I mean, I know some of those live action remakes make money, but are any of them really making enough? Like, I believe Aladdin crossed $1
I was
billion,
gonna say, I
right?
thought Aladdin did well. I thought a few of them did do pretty decently.
No, they did decently,
Lion.
but it just feels like they, I guess, stir up more controversy and debate than ultimately they're worth.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
if
In this
the Lion
particular case,
King,
it's a major failure, though.
well, yeah, no, 100%. But like again, if the Lion King and Aladdin both crossed $1 billion, like I think I think there is reason to keep doing them for the studio, at least from their
Here,
perspective.
I got some actual numbers here now, so I don't have to generalize.
Yeah.
Oh well, this is only giving me. Looks like this is only giving me domestic, but it still gives us a good sense. So the Lion King total domestically made 543 million, followed by Beauty and the Beast with just over 500 million. Then it dips for the Jungle Book to 364. Aladdin was 355, and then we're at Alice in Wonder. I mean, but look at this list.
Mhm.
This list does not include very many recent. This list sucks. Don't listen to this list.
This list sucks.
I'm like,
Sucks.
why aren't there recent? Someone please buy Box Office Mojo and fix it. Fix it. There used to be such a great tool where you could look shit up by franchises and see like the lifetime gross domestically and worldwide. It's such a
I know
it is such a you know what?
it
It's
used to
worse.
be.
It's worse than useless. It makes people make errors. It's sending wrong information. It's not, I mean, I'm sure these numbers are accurate, but you know what I
Yeah, the
mean.
numbers are accurate, but
You know what I mean. Ugh,
yeah, but again, like I'm hyped on Lilo and Stitch. Like Pete's
I'm
Dragon.
hyped about Lilo and Stitch,
Oh no,
actually.
I'm very hyped on Lilo and Stitch. Pete's Dragon was fucking amazing. Like,
But Pete's Dragon, I don't think made a lot of money, did
no,
it?
I do not think that
Pete's
was.
Dragon made $0
Yeah.
and it's still the best live action remake.
I believe that. Yeah, I track with that. I think that
Mm.
is. Yeah, I think it is my favorite of all the live action remakes.
It's the best out of all of them.
Man, do I wish there was an easy place to look up a chart for how much these movies made. And it's just not possible. Oh, I forgot about Mulan. That was a movie that
Oh, Mulan,
happened.
that's right.
Peter Pan and Wendy counts.
That's right.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, they're making money. Like it's.
Noel Rogers.
He's just figuring life out.
Well, Snow White's definitely not making any money. That one is.
And again, it's marred by
Sounds like not a
bullshit
great
controversy
situation.
and all that stuff too. So it's just what it is.
Oh my God, the amount I want Snow White to leave my TikTok For You page because none of it is actual like constructive criticism of the movie. It's literally just making fun of people and trying to rip the artists behind it to shreds. And I don't know. I
Because
don't need
people are
that.
idiots, and that's just.
I don't need that.
That's just what it is. I actually think I agree with Ian too. I think Jungle Book is right
Mhm.
under.
I like Jungle Book.
Honestly, I think Jungle Book might be right under Pete's Dragon for me as number 2.
Pete's Dragon, Jungle Book. I love the Cinderella remake they did.
That's the one I haven't seen. I don't like. I just missed it. I was at a festival or something too. Like that was the bad release time. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. There you go.
Where's
That's
Andrew?
awesome.
Where's Andrew?
That's your next Superyaki collaboration. Fixed Box Office Mojo.
What I would give to be able to afford to buy Box Office Mojo.
Yeah, there you go.
It was, I mean, I really loved Box Office Mojo. It wasn't just a thing where I would use it to find information. Sometimes when I just like, this is going to sound so weird and kind of pathetic. Sometimes when I was just like bored or needed, like before the days of TikTok, before I would endless scroll on TikTok, I would endless click on Box Office Mojo, just like, not like taking me from like film to actor to filmmaker to another one, just to like create links and see what people worked on and to like read facts about them. I don't know. I really liked doing that. I know I was, admittedly. Now you can't do that anymore. All right. So now for the silver lining of the box office conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is coming up this year that will be a big winner?
I didn't think about
I'll
that.
go first because I already said my pick. I think this is going to be an epic resurgence for the Final Destination franchise. I think, I actually also think while I would like a new Final Destination movie regularly, like I think that franchise and that concept in particular well serves the never-ending horror movie franchise situation that we're often like, stop, enough already. You could
Yeah.
tell such wildly different stories while playing with in-depth design. Like the creative possibilities are truly, truly endless. But I do think in this particular case, the 10 plus year gap between the last movie and this one kind of, not that this wasn't always the case, but I think it bolstered the online talk of like, I'll
Yeah.
never do this because of Final Destination. And I think that was a very easy franchise for younger generations to discover. And like now it's all of our moment collectively to enjoy a big new one in theaters on the big screen. And again, I've already said this a million times, but I have a lot of faith in those filmmakers. So in addition to just it being an easily hyped concept and franchise, I also think they're going to deliver a really good movie, and that's just going to be the perfect mixture.
Yeah, I mean, Blumhouse, I wrote about this at the beginning of the year. Like Blumhouse had a really down year last year because they just banked on a few movies that didn't really, they banked on a bunch of originals that they didn't really put enough into, let's say, marketing. Maybe not even marketing wise, that's not fair. They just banked on some originals that did not hit. So they had a really low box office year total comparatively. But I mean, The Black Phone is one of their biggest properties, box office wise, and that sequel I think is going to crush. Five Nights at Freddy's showed how fucking ravenous those fans are, and we're getting Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and that's going to absolutely decimate all the competition at the box office. If it does as well as the first one, which I think it might financially do. I think someone just said in the chat, Megan too, like. Megan came out of nowhere as one of those like surprise successes. So I think the sequel has every right, and they're really leaning into. I finally saw like the first teaser before The Woman in the Yard, and just like they're leaning so hard into like that bitch is coming back kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, you know, they stumbled into finding what they had with Megan in real time with the first movie, but now they know what people want from it, and they're like leaning so hard into it. I think that's going to help it do really well at the box office too.
That's why I think the way that they operate serves them well. I do understand you can't back every, big swing concept or new filmmaker, but you think that the more you do and the more you make on that scale at that level of budget, like that's the only way you'll have the select few that really spark with people and create these phenomenon type situations. So I encourage them to keep doing that.
I was just going to say, new Jurassic World.
No brainer. That's just like a plain old guaranteed box office smash. I like dinos. Many people like dinos, and they like watching them eat people and do stuff on those islands. I don't know. It's just such a bankable concept.
I will, like, it's the one thing where, like, I don't care. Again, like, I did not like Dominion. I did not like the last one, but I will.
Doesn't matter.
Enthusiasm for the franchise will never diminish. Every time I see a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World trailer,
it's a unique situation in that case. I mean, then again, on the back of some disappointing Marvel movies, how many millions of people just sat and watched a video of fucking chairs for hours?
Yeah. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is dead. Is it? Why'd you watch 5.5 hours worth of chairs, bitch?
I gotta say,
chairs.
Listen,
but I mean, like, is the Fantastic Four going to have that pull though? Is that the problem?
I think that I do think that there's enough, like, really, like decades long enthusiasm to like bring that iteration of Marvel on the big screen back and also combine it with the MCU we know.
That's fair.
I was about to say we know and love, but some people don't love it anymore. Then again, everyone watched Chairs. Matt, that made me so mad.
Chairs, the live stream.
Chairs, half my day.
I refuse to click on it at a point. I'm just like, you know what? I watched 2 chairs. I get what's happening. I feel like I'm being manipulated and I don't like it.
I mean, but we also have we have Ballerina from the John Wick universe coming out. We have Mission Impossible coming out. Like Mission Impossible. Thunderbolts, right? We have Thunderbolts. The box office is fine. Like the box office. I don't know how well Thunderbolts will do.
No, I think Thunderbolts is going to
that'll crush.
I
hope so.
And I think people are going to be excited about it being fun. because it's
Yeah.
not about all women, so it's allowed
Right.
to be fun.
That's fair.
I do think I'm very hopeful Thunderbolts is going to be good too, like with that ensemble.
Yeah.
But I also really like Jake Schreier as a filmmaker, so I'm hopeful that it'll be quality. And when you have like the built-in Marvel fan base and also quality, it does usually combine to create a bigger box office than we've seen in with recent movies. The other one that I'm watching big time is Superman. That movie's going to be that movie's going to be a big deal. Another one that I always trust to deliver a quality film is James Gunn, and I think he is very well aware of the legacy, of the pressure, of every single thing that comes not only with making a Superman movie, but with restarting that film franchise. And
Yeah.
he's also just like a filmmaker who cares. He's a filmmaker who cares, and he's really good at executing his visions. There is nothing in this world that will convince me that that movie isn't primed to be like a real high quality Superman movie that can put DC films on the big screen back on the map in a very big way.
Yeah. Valid. Minecraft is gonna fucking break.
Is it? Okay, so I do have Box Office Pro's long range forecast pulled up here, and it looks like they've got Minecraft coming in for opening weekend between 60 and 75 million.
Minecraft could be a Five Nights at Freddy's box office scenario, if not more. If I'm being honest, because again, what JG says later, like literally, it is one of the biggest fucking gaming franchise, whatever you want to call it, properties out there at this moment, and we cannot count out the kids, the youths. They're going to want to see their Minecraft movie, and that's.
And the budget's pretty solid for a studio level film. Reportedly, it is 150 million, which is a very respectable amount to make of like a big studio release like this, but also something that has a chance of turning a really good profit. And again, these are only the domestic numbers. Right. So worldwide, this one could make a pretty penny.
Worth noting here that Saw 11 is off the calendar. It is gone. So we have no idea if Saw 11 is even happening at this point. So just a sad note, but just wanted to call that one out. So that was noticed if that wasn't missed.
I'm sorry. I just got a variety blast with the new Max logo. I'm just so sick of like Max changing its name and releasing new logos. Like who the fuck cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
Mario did all right. Branding.
Fucking you Google it, Andrew. Do the work for us.
What?
Super Mario Bros.
Oh, Mario broke broke $1 billion.
It did break a year.
That movie did very, very well.
Yeah. That's man.
Black Phone 2.
That's what I was saying. Like before. Like Blumhouse is gonna crush. Like Blumhouse is gonna make so much money.
Did you say that while I was too busy yelling at the new Max logo?
No, when I was talking about Blumhouse, and I was saying like 5 minutes.
That was like 20 minutes ago, Matt. I completely forgot what happened 20 minutes ago.
But yeah, Blumhouse is gonna have a big year.
This is an interesting choice. Right. Yeah. I think it's going to do well again. It's not going to, do as well as these big projects that we've just been talking about, but I think they have a steady stream of cash coming in. If that first chapter could sustain those reviews and still make as much as it did, I don't know.
I guess, but man, they had the momentum with it though. Like I know the momentum was weird because it came with like negative reviews, but you've now waited against it's every time we talk about it, like you waited maybe like too long. I don't know. Are people going to care again? I don't know.
I mean, you saying that is making me go right, but where's the Avatar one? It wasn't just JG. Someone had like a whole sentence about Avatar. Here it is. JG.
Avatar is
Avatar 3. So I will never forget spending many years being like, no one's going to care about Avatar when the sequel came out, and look at how much money it made. I do think the concept of the strangers is one of those like ever bankable concepts. I think it would have been really interesting, and I would have liked to have seen, just for my own curiosity, what the box office could have looked like if they released all three in a single calendar year. But I do think no matter when they release a second one, people are going to want to see The Strangers. Actually, I'm going to backtrack a hair. I think that I think that what I just said is going to hold true for chapter 2. But if they are doing what they promised, which is veering off course, off that original story and telling us more about the strangers themselves, the quality of 2 is going to determine the success of 3. That's where you derail that concept. So if 2 does well, capitalize on that fast and release the 3rd. Because if you wait, people aren't going to care anymore. And they're not going to trust the brand.
No, I 100% agree with that, because I think even at this point now, you're going to have people who kind of forgot about the first one. Not forgot about, but like,
it doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. Like the first one was the original movie. And even if people haven't seen The Strangers, I guarantee you, if you tell somebody like, what's the movie with like the masked people who do a home invasion, and say like, why did you do this? Because you were home. Like most people know that is The Strangers.
But I guess more the sense though of like someone being like, oh, like was chapter 1 even that good? I can't remember anymore. And like now you go back and you'll see the Rotten Tomatoes score and be like, oh, like, you know, that might be more of a hesitation at this point because you waited so long. Because like when you had the conversation, at least you did have the conversation going of people talking about the movie and people knowing what was going on and being like, like it has iffy reviews, but like it's, oh my God, but we get to see the second so soon. Like I still think the gimmick they had with that was good, because they were banking on the fucking Fear Street stuff of like, hey, we're going to take over. Like we're going to keep the chatter for The Strangers going on. And hey, we're going to give you 3 movies so quick. Like you don't have to wait a year to see it. And they fell right back into the same model that like they were trying to disrupt. And I don't know if, again, I understand what you're saying, and horror is always bankable. So like people show up, but fool me once, you know, fool me twice kind of thing, I guess, to say, where like, okay, if chapter 2 really isn't good, then it's like, 3 can go fall off a cliff. Like you've gotten me twice now.
Then you also have the people who will like look it up, and they'll look up the original and be like, oh, got good reviews, and not realize that there was a remake.
Yeah, that's fair. That's if you just pick up The Strangers and see that, like, I guess that's valid.
This is a biggie we missed. That How to Train Your Dragon movie, I think, is going to do very, very well.
I guess it's
especially if it's good. That young cast has like a real nice following. That whole franchise has hardcore fans of all ages. I also think that is a particular franchise, and I know they're doing the live action this time around, but I think that has a lot of animation diehards behind it.
Yeah,
it just seems like it's like the ideal 4-quadrant movie that is primed for success right now.
Yeah, and again, I'm excited, like I'm cautiously excited for it, because like I love those movies. I love How to Train Your Dragon and stuff like that. And part of me is like, I don't want to see it live. Like part of the joy of those movies is how they look animated and just how vibrant they are. So I was like, I don't need to see it live action. I just want to see more of that like digital and what they're doing, because it's so good. But then I saw the trailer. I'm like, no, I'm in on this. Like,
if it wasn't the director of the animated movies, I'd have those same concerns. But given Dean's also making the live action version, I don't know. It's hard not to have faith and believe that he's actually going to pull it off.
No, that's valid then.
I'm hyped. Oh, and we'll know soon enough. I always forget they're screening it at CinemaCon. So we'll get those first reactions very soon now. All right. We've been going for an hour. Did we miss anything we promised? We did everything. We did the 3 things.
Yeah, we did 3 things.
Yeah, well, I always just want to make sure we deliver what we do, what we say in the title and what we say in the description, because longtime Merri Hour fans know that every once in a while we'll just like completely blow past a headline topic and be like, oh shit, after.
We like something happens, we just get sidetracked for like 30 minutes.
I can't remember specifically what it was. There was one time where our headline and thumbnail was something and we completely forgot to talk about it. I feel like it was a long time ago at this point, but I do remember that happening.
I do remember that happening.
All right. You want
What do you want to do? Yeah.
Plugs.
That's right. We had to do that. You can follow me at Donatobomb, DONATOBOMB, on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can also follow my podcast, Certified Forgotten, at Certified Forgot on, again, the Instagrams, the Blue Skies. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, we are there. We talk about horror movies with 10 or less critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so we give you recommendations you probably haven't heard of yet. So horror fans should be on the beat for Certified Forgotten.
Awesome. And thank you for this super sticker, Ricardo. We'll check it out after we air. I will plug so much ladies' night.
Shocking.
And Forces. For all you Yellow Jackets fans, the one that I can blurt out right now because it's in the can is I had Liv Hewson back on Collider Forces. They're just so good at articulating their intentions and not reframing. You know, when someone explains what they did in a show or a movie and like you felt what they're saying, but you hadn't articulated it that exact way, and hearing it put into words that way makes it even more powerful. That's what they're very good at doing. And it was another great lengthy conversation because I can't stop talking to them. That will be next week's episode because that's for episode 9. And then I'll hopefully have more for the finale episode. And then also that next weekend, which I believe is April 11th. Did I make that number up? I also have a Megan Fahey ladies night for Drop. So check that out. And so many South by interviews. They're all going up. Go watch the Descendant one, please. That one just went live over the weekend. And that team is just fucking awesome. They make me happy. They make me proud to be in this industry. So go check out that interview and we'll figure out what's happening next weekend because I believe you'll be in New Orleans.
I will. Yeah. I'll fit some time in somewhere, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll plan something. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye-bye.